Go. Hi, I'm Al Blythe. It's October 2nd, 2021, and this is probably our last of the season for the Coba experimental hive here. This is a 5-frame hive we put in place back in May, and it's made it through the summer pretty well. There's been a couple of times I've come out here and done things and not videoed it, and I want to tell you what I did so we kind of get caught up. I put mite away quick strips in because of having done a mite test that was high enough mite count that it warranted that. I put one in between each of the brood chambers and offset the brood chambers a little bit for ventilation and opened the front up and left them for 2 weeks. I found in my other bees, and got me worrying about this one, that this summer has been really awful for yellow jackets robbing and other honeybees as well. So I came out right away and took those out as soon as their time was up, and sure enough, that hive is very, very light on stores. So a lot of the honey that was in there has been taken away by other bees and yellow jackets. And in fact, the last time we were in them, we triggered robbing behavior just by having the hive open. So we may see that today. I hope not. We're going to open it up, look really quickly to make sure that we have eggs and larvae, and then we're going to close it up and go right back to where we were at the beginning. We're going to put a feeder on top, fill it with sugar water, and feed them heavily between now and cold weather, just so they've got enough for the winter. I think that's really about all we're going to talk about. Maybe at the end, if they aren't too wild, we'll pull the tray out and look for mites on that and see, because there'll probably be a lot of mites since we just treated them. But okay, we'll go ahead and open it up and see how they're doing. This morning, I did the same kind of thing with some of my other hives, and I think I've been in 50 or 60 hives in the last couple of weeks and never gotten stung, and this morning I was stung 3 times. So they're still pretty feisty. There's still a lot of, they're defensive because they're being robbed, and so when they think we're robbing them instead of helping them. Okay, well, we're gonna do a little smoke at the front door just to say hello. And I also put a hardware cloth screen on the front, because as these nights are getting cooler, we don't want Mr. Mouse to move in. So the hardware cloth cuts down the entry a little bit. I always look at the top and bottom of the inner cover, because that's a good indicator of whether you have small hive beetles. I don't see any this time. That's nice. Let's pull a frame out here. They're bringing in pollen like crazy still. There's a lot of goldenrod blooming right now. And so we're seeing there's some nectar in here, but not a lot. And there's plenty of space. So by our feeding them, I think we'll increase their nectar source. The 2 supers below have got brood in them. I really don't think I want to open it up much, because I'm concerned about the fact that they're so light on stores here, and I don't want to trigger the robbing from this hive next door or anybody else. See how this frame's really empty. There's not much in it. You see a little bit of nectar in the middle. Not much pollen. Well, no pollen in this one. We'll take out another. That one's no different. Well, I'll take the risk here and take this off the top. See if we can see any brood down below. Just do this one little poof on them. There's some cap brood in the middle, and get the light right, maybe we can see if there's eggs and larvae down in here. But I'm quite sure they've got a good strong laying queen, they just don't have enough food right now. So we're going to help them out in that regard. I'm just going to put her back together. We'll put the feeder on. In this case, because this inner top has a notch in it, that allows bees in from the outside. So I'm going to leave the inner top out and just put the feeder on because we don't want bees to drown in the feeder. So the bees can come up in here and they access the sugar water will rise to whatever level it is on the inside up in those slots. So the bees crawl up in there and get plenty of syrup that way. So I made up a couple of gallons of 2-to-1 sugar water. So this is pretty thick stuff. You can see it's got some viscosity to it. So that means that you're putting, it's 2-to-1 by weight. So for a pints a pound the world round in water, so a pint of water would be 2 pounds of sugar. So for a gallon of, if you mix up a gallon of water, you're going to put 4 bags, 4-pound bags of sugar into that. So you got to heat it up, bring it to a boil, turn it off, mix the sugar in, and turn it off from there. And I put just a little bit, ooh, that's pretty close to the top. I put a little bit of Honeybee Healthy in here, but you don't need to. That's just a feeding stimulant and it helps keep it from getting moldy. And the rock here is to keep Mr. Raccoon out or the wind from blowing it over. Okay, I think we're done. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos all summer, and we'll maybe do another one later just to come back and check on these guys when they get ready for cold weather. Thanks, Aaron, for shooting all these videos.
Bye, y'all.